I want to welcome you to the meeting. We're going to have Adam help us back and forth here with kind of running the kind of sound for the meeting and stuff like that. So he's probably going to mute everybody just so we don't get any background noise. You don't have to worry about that. And then when you have questions or whatever, you can unmute yourself and then just remember pop it back just so we don't hear any background pieces. So I'm going to go through first the little webinar pieces. So we're going to go through some slides and things like that. But I think it'd be great if people want to introduce themselves real quick. So in case anybody needs to ask a question while we're going along, which is totally welcome, please, then go ahead. So people who are on the phone can slowly introduce themselves. That would be great.
Steven's on the line.
Steve, you said you were on the line still?
I'm still attending by Zoom.
You can go ahead, yeah. Just introduce yourself and then what classes you teach and things like that. That'd be great. Then we'll just keep moving along. All right, so that's the webinar we're doing right now. It's just for mathematics. So just some information there. Online for the chair is changed for Bernice. She's real good, so make sure if you need anything for there. Remember, you can always contact me. There's my phone number and my email. Please make sure you guys are contacting me about any issues or anything like that. This is also being recorded. So if you want to kind of head back to it later on for any information you missed or anything like that, please feel free to refer to it.
And Stephen typed in that he teaches Math 252 this semester.
Oh, great. Nice. Yeah, I know you've been doing good on that one. Thanks, Mom. And then we also have some videos I think you guys have been getting lately of some introduction to the college. And then I think an intro video from me for introduction to the mathematics group. And I know we're going to come up with some other ones from there pretty soon. We're going to try and look at some course-specific videos. So these are the, oh.
Sorry, I'm just going to make it a little bigger.
Oh, that's fine. Fine. Yeah, I think I used maybe my font was a little small. Adam's trying to fix that for me.
Everybody can see that.
Yeah, and we've got the, I don't know if they have.
I can't see that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so courses for 110. 110 now we're using the ALEKS system from McGraw-Hill, and that's actually been pretty well. Been going well for us for on ground, and I think for online it's also been going well. I know Brent, and I want to say I think Steve Hughes have both used it so far. Oh, and Dana. I know Dana Odell has been using it also. So that's been really good. For 144, we're looking at doing some piloting right now with ALEKS and with Carnegie Learning. And then we're using the MyMathLab as kind of the baseline one. So I hope if you have noticed and been teaching any of the GTOs or anything like that, you may have noticed the change in the course design. So we're looking at quizzing a little bit more to kind of see where the students are procedurally. And then we've also updated the major assignments. So in the past, they were just called worksheet 1 and 2. Now it's major assignment 1, 2, and 3. So that looks pretty good for us so far. And I know we're looking at maybe a bigger revision for next fall. Again, I'd love some comments if you ever taught that class. Please make sure you send those. 154 is looking at their projects. I know they're also looking at the ALEKS system there. 150, 151 has been redesigned lately, and it looks pretty good and been running well. 215 doing well. 225 for us on ground is going to be next semester. And I know that I've been looking at some different design elements for that one. Definitely, if you've taught that one online at all, please make sure you give me some comments on that, of how it's running for you online, some suggestions and things like that. 261 basically completely replaces 250 now. So 250 is now kind of maybe on a teach out, there might be a couple sections online still there, but it's really just now 261. So remember, that's that pre-calculus. They were really the same class. We just have kind of put it down, and we thought the name pre-calculus was better. So we did that one. And then 52, 53, that gets us into the calculus sequence. Oh, excuse me, I skipped over 251. That'll be a new one for you guys. It used to be 351, which we'll still have to do a teach out for a little bit. It's in a couple programs that needs upper division credit, but we're going to make it into the course 251, which is a brief calculus. So when it was labeled as 351, it's that college for calculus for biomedical sciences, and the brief calculus will be 251. This one's kind of exciting because we're going to try and see if the College of Business wants to do some finance degrees, things like that. Those programs will be using that brief calculus, which I think a lot of you guys may have seen at other institutions. So we're excited to do that. We'll still be doing biomedical examples in that course too, but it should be kind of fun to get it down to the appropriate level of that 251. Going back, 52, 53, and 62, 64, those are the calc sequences. So calc 1 and 2, and then calc 1 and 2 for engineers. So those are going well, and they're looking at some little small minor changes. 260, that's the new geometry. It was 312. Yeah, 312 is the old geometry, the 260 is the higher. 274 and 365, those are both our bio courses, or excuse me, our statistics courses. The 365 is the biostatistics. We just have some control over that one. 345, 64, 80, and then the 470 and the 480 all move into our program courses. So that's specifically for our math ed majors, and they've been going strong. We're actually doing a program review of that degree right now. So if you have any questions on the overall degree, or especially some comments, some suggestions about how the courses are sequenced, we would love some insight on that. If you especially have taught somewhere else and seen different ways of kind of offering that, that'd be great right now. And then moving into the graduate courses, there's a new UNV course that we're looking at designing. I think it's almost out. Is that right, Adam?
It's very close, yeah.
Okay. And we're going to take advantage of having a different introductory course for the graduates. So it will actually be the kind of same course that they have for, I think it's UNV 503 is the one now. We're just calling it 509 because it'll actually have mathematical elements in it, some introduction to MATLAB, some things like that, which should go really well for us. That'll be great for the students taking that graduate degree. And then the 505, 550, 552, 571, and the 550, 525 are all of the graduate math courses that are a part of that master's degree. I just wanted to throw out a quick plug for any of the online instructors. If you guys know people that in your lives, just in your personal lives, that kind of say, hey, your job sounds kind of fun. It sounds kind of interesting. At one time in my life, I thought about being a math teacher. And I always wondered if I could be, and maybe I'm an engineer, or maybe I took some math when I was in college, but it wasn't a math major. It definitely wasn't a math major. But even if they have just a Calc 2, if they've gone up through Calc 2 as an undergrad, they can come into this graduate program and we can get them to be successful. So especially if they live in Phoenix. Right now we're doing it only on ground here in Phoenix. But I'm trying to get us to have more students in those courses that want to be college teachers. Right now it's really heavy with dual enrollment instructors. So I'm hoping we're going to get some more that want to be go teach at a community college or at a university. So please, if you have some people in your life that that you can encourage them, tell them teaching math is not as scary as you thought. Please make sure you let them know that. And then moving on, this is just some information on some pass-fail rates for what we've been doing lately. So we got online pass-fail rates and also some traditional on ground. Online, let's look at that one first. So that's on this side. So again, we're doing pretty good success rate on 110. There's not a ton of people. You can see that N, that's like about 38 students. There's not very many. I think some of you guys know that the people don't take that course. So that's not really available for them to take a part of any program. So that's fine. 144 is doing pretty good, about 79%. We would probably like to see that bump up a little bit better. That 150, 151's doing well. 54, this one's newer for us for online. It was only on ground for a little while, so struggling a little bit. I think some of you that have taught the 154 may know that some of these students may not be as well prepared for that college algebra. We would like them to take the 110, but they don't ahead of time. So if you're teaching the 154, if you catch that student in the first week of the 154 course and you just know that they're struggling, you might want to say to them, say, hey, you know what, even if you just take some basic algebra skills review, you'll do better in this class, that you're just not going to do as well otherwise. So good luck with that. Hope that goes better. We're going to still look at that program also. That end is also increasing for us. And then you can kind of see the rest of the successes, the 215 through 250s, the 80s and 90s. That 52, that's that Calc 1. Again, some of those students might not be as well prepared, but they're doing pretty good. 70 is not bad. 53 is a repeat after 52, so if they can get past that 52, they usually can do well in 53. And then 260, giving us a nice little pass rate, we'll take that one. And then the nice little small N too. 274, remember, that's a pretty big service course for us. That's not going to be full of math majors. It's going to have nursing majors. It's going to have a lot of other kinds of students in there. So 72% is not too bad for us. We would like to see some more success with that course also, but I personally think that's pretty good. That's a pretty good end for online too. And then moving into 312, 345, doing pretty well. That 345, that's a tough one. I talked to ground students who take that course, and they find it a little bit of an extra hump to get over. So a lot of them are still doing well there. And then our small ends on the other courses, those are going to increase now for us as we get more and more online students in our program. Remember, we kind of moved over a couple years ago from the old Bachelor of Science in Education with an emphasis in math to us now taking on the Bachelor's of Math for secondary ed. And so we're going to see, I think, some more ends in those courses, and I'm hoping that we're going to do pretty well in those. If we take a look at the trad side, then we can see that the 110 is at that 60% rate. We're finding for our students in that one, that's not too bad actually for a lot of these students, because I think you guys all know there's probably a pretty good percentage of students in that course that are probably withdrawing. They're maybe really not prepared for college, especially on that ground. Probably about maybe 15% at most of them just really are struggling, have a really big block. And so we're trying to reach out to them. We're going to keep looking at that. I think we are benefiting from that 110 course in the 144 and the 154. You can see those higher rates in both of those classes, especially that 154, much higher than the online there. But again, you're seeing that benefit of having that 110 course and having our students actually take it. And then moving on from there, again, you can see most of our rates for the ground are much higher than that online component. We want to try and examine that a little bit more. And so again, if you've taught any of these courses online and you found any difficulty in how they're designed, please let us know. We want to try and make sure that we get success for any of our students. Doesn't matter at all. So again, you can see the different pass rates on those. No, you're fine. Oh, no. And then let's move on. And then only thing I had in the kind of last little piece here was just to, ask you guys now. I want to kind of open it up a little bit more. How can we help you with your teaching and things like that? And then if you guys had any comments or concerns that we could try and work on.
Feel free to type in any comments if you're not able to chat.
Yeah, Adam will read them off if you guys have any comments.
We chatted, when will Math 274 be updated?
I know that had just been updated, I think, if it was a year, wasn't it last year, it was the year before. We usually do a 3-year cycle on a lot of our courses just for collecting data. My suspicion is, though, that with us doing the program review right now, that some of the courses that we have in the cycle might bump up just because we might look at things as an holistically and see how they're doing across the whole program. And so if we're seeing some issues with any of the courses that would benefit from kind of being updated through this program review, then that would bump it up the ladder more. I definitely, please reach out. If you want, you can email me. I know the coordinator, Jeff, will also welcome any comments and things like that. And then always, I think you guys know, make sure you're filling out the FEOCs at the end of the course, because I know we collect those and we look at those whenever we're looking at any of the course designs. The other thing that could be happening too that I just want to let you guys know is sometimes if there's something going on within a course that is causing an issue and it's something that we can teach towards, and what I kind of mean by that is that as the instructor of the course, we can give maybe a little bit more detailed directions, or we can kind of, do some small slight tweaks. We'll do that a lot of times too. So if you're reaching out, you let us know that there seems to be something going on in your course that just doesn't seem to be going well, and we can do a small tweak instead of redesigning the whole course, then we're much more able to do that quickly. So please let us know any of that kind of stuff so we can let you know what you can teach towards for your students, and then that way we don't have to do a whole redesign, which is expensive, which ends up costing our students more. Right now, we're currently looking at the spring schedule, so if you have availability for ground courses, you can just email me your availability.
And then there's Marie saying she switched out of 154 to 274.
Yeah, it's funny. Marie, I get the other one too, which is I switched to 274 into another one. I do know that 154 is being looked at, especially for the online modality for the amount of projects, and that's one of the ones that we're looking at. I think those guys got a little excited about making some good projects for the students, which really looks great and looks fun to do, and the students enjoy them. But sometimes in that 8-week modality, I think it can be a little overwhelming. So I know we're looking at that. And please, even though you're not teaching 154 anymore, please give us some good comments about that and what you experienced when you taught that course, and maybe some things from your students that you'd heard, or especially if you had any kind of examples, that'd be great.
Who's the course lead for 154?
Jonah.
Jonah.
Yeah, you can also reach out to Jonah and then just CC me also. Yep.
That's for Math 154?
Correct. And then Jeff is,
Math 154?
yeah.
Sorry. Springer 27. Any other questions or concerns, thoughts for this?
Oh, cool. Yeah, he's real good about, he always sends me little missives I see that he's sending off to you guys. He's got a lot of templates and a lot of kind of guidance in that 274 class. I think that's really helped out a lot, because I know for the adjuncts in the past, some of the issues with some of the projects and things was they didn't know exactly the guidance to give the students. And so I know Jeff's been working on that a lot. We're actually looking at Jeff doing one of the videos. So kind of like the introductory video that I have done that you guys should have hopefully seen. We're going to have Jeff and Jonah probably do some of those for each of that kind of course level. Kind of say, hey, here's the overview of the course. Here's this project. Here's this one. Give you guys a little bit better guidance. So that should be kind of fun. Look for that. I would say probably by the end of the spring. I think that would be about the piece we're looking for. We got to wait for it to slow down a little bit to give these guys more things to do. Excellent. Yeah, the students do. They need a lot of guidance, and we're finding that also in 144 and 154. As long as you give them guidance, the students do well. And I think we kind of need to kind of remember that as learners ourselves when we were coming up, that the better guidance we had, the more could be expected of us. Any other comments at all? I know you guys are. We're all thinkers, Adam.
That's right. Okay.
We're deep thinkers here. And also, I mean, I think you guys know this already. You know, please reach out, even if you're not make a comment today. If something doesn't come to your mind, as soon as we hang up, you're like, oh wait, I was going to ask about this. Please email me. I get a lot of them, so I'm used to it. But for which course, Stephen? While you're typing, well, there you go. So I teach the 225 course, and sometimes I'll do groups for that one because especially for presentations. And a lot of times, if it's the first group that I'm going to do, I'll just kind of do it random. So I just pick, students. I take the student list, the roster list in LoudCloud, and I just start putting them into a group. And sometimes what I'll do is, especially because a lot of them don't know each other when they first start the class, and then it gets them to know each other better. Sometimes I'll let the students decide, oh, I want to work with this person. I already have a schedule that's common with this person. And that's pretty fine with me. But most of the time I like to kind of put them in groups at least once, and I like to kind of switch it mid-semester just to get them to work with somebody else for a little bit. For me, I've noticed it for the math ed group, so for those upper division courses, the more I can get them to work with each other, the more they get to know each other, and they become a tighter group in general. I think we all know that math is not an individual sport. It's definitely something you do as a group. And so the more we can teach our undergrads that, the better. I know I didn't really learn that deeply until I got into graduate school, that you don't work alone, that you always do math with somebody else. And so we're trying to get the undergrads to understand that much earlier. And honestly, for even the 144, 274, even calc, the more we can get students to understand that it's not about memorizing by yourself, it's about talking over problems, it's about doing stuff together, the better off they'll be. So yeah, I would just say for me, Stephen, you just got to try some different ones, and sometimes it'll work perfect. Right away, you'll get them into nice groups and they'll work well together. And then I always get concerned when I notice a group has, like, let's say 3 people in it, and I really obviously can tell one person's doing all the work. Whenever I see that going on personally, I just break up that group real quick because I want to make sure that everybody's carrying the load. And so I'll say something like, oh, hey, you know what? I'm the kind of crazy professor that makes you go in different groups, and just use an easy excuse to kind of break them up.
Does that apply to online courses? Do they have group projects?
We don't have like purposeful CLC groups in all of them, but honestly, for even online, especially when I start getting up to about, because I've taught some of these ones online too, 24 students. If I have 24 students in a Math 225 course, then I'm going to have them do some of them in groups, things like that. So honestly, even smaller assignments, a lot of times that's a better way to do it. Okay. Good to there. I think we're probably good. We probably kept you guys long enough. Any last little throw in your ideas here? This is it. We don't read email after this. No, I'm kidding. All righty. Well, you guys have a blessed day. Thanks for coming by. Again, please make sure you're sending comments. Make sure you guys are involved in what we're doing. We really want to hear from you, and you're on the front lines. And so I pray you guys are doing well. I pray that your students are doing well. And talk to you again soon.